EGR as well. This has an EGR, so we can see enable normal factory settings. This is going to be running all those, both of those parameters for the EGR and for the fuel pressure solenoid, just as it would factory. So we'll keep those toggled on. Now the boost control. This is something that is different from the last video. Last video we had a AEM True Boost boost controller. This actually has the 3-port boost solenoid that we're going to be doing the factory ECU control boost here through the actual programming, which is what I wanted to show in the last video, but that wasn't in the cards for that particular car. So this has it. We're going to go through all that. Now it does have a 20 psi wastegate spring. I'd like to see a lower wastegate spring in it, but we'll use that and we'll try to get up to maybe 25, 26 pounds at most, and we'll kind of feel it out and see where we're at. So right now we'll keep all this off and essentially bypass that boost solenoid and just run it off the wastegate spring. It's always important when you get started with your tuning process to just do your baselines off the wastegate spring and then worry about potentially going in after you've done all your tuning and got all your full throttle dialed in. Then you can start to bump your boost in and go through that process. So we'll leave it off right now, and we'll just kind of keep going. Now, the one thing I want to do here is to save altitude. If I click this, this is going to be saving the altitude we're at right now, showing 700 feet. That's going to be calculated from the actual baropressure sensor that we have going on here. So this is important. It's going to be feeding into the boost control. It's also going to be feeding into the ECU boost, correcting for elevation, making sure when we're looking at the actual ECU boost parameter in our data logs, that it's going to be matching up and it's going to be showing us the correct amount of the boost that it is thinking it's calculating, in making sure that our air mass is represented properly. We looked at that in the last video, so make sure we represent it right here. Under the dash, we can see our knock cell retard, or the knock cell. So the check engine light's going to flash if the knock retard goes here above 2. I'm going to set it to maybe something like 4. So 4 degrees of retard or higher, it'll kick the check engine light and it'll flash it at me. The coolant cell, I'll turn this on at something like 228. So 228 degrees and hotter, it's going to kick on essentially the check engine light to warn me that it's overheating. That should be pretty good. The coolant offset here, this I believe has a thermostat, so we shouldn't have to have any offsets in here. If we want to go and offset this, if you have a colder thermostat or no thermostat like that previous car had, we need to go here and bump a value of maybe 10 or 20 degrees, which would then turn the fans on sooner because we don't have that thermostat. This, I believe, again, has a thermostat. It's more of a street application. It's very mild compared to that last example. So we'll leave this at 0. The boost gauge, I'm going to leave the stock, the stock programming here for the boost gauge being a stock actual boost gauge. So we'll leave that alone. Under the miscellaneous, looking down here, we have the use non-9596 style cam angle sensor that's toggled on. We want to do the lock, comm, and ECM link mode. We want to make sure disable airflow smoothing with speed density operation. We want to make sure that's checked. Now we did also check that if we're going back in here to the MAF comp. It was also checked here, but make sure both are checked, both locations. We shouldn't have to go and activate anything right now. We turned on the fuel pump, turned it off to check the base pressure. That should be all good. We don't need to test any outputs. That should be good. Let's move in here to the DTCs. Now this has everything turned on right now. Let's actually go here. Let's clear this. Let's update this. It shouldn't be generating anything right now. We haven't started it yet. Let me turn off all of our DTC checks. Doesn't have a cat. We don't want the misfire on. Closed loop we don't care about. The automatic transmission it doesn't have, and the idle control. We'll just turn all those off, and then we'll just go here to save all to ECU. Save everything here. So we've essentially bypassed any of the monitoring. We don't need to worry about any of that right now. For the ECU inputs, we need to be very specific with this and set some of the channels up so we're going to get our logging channels correctly. Some of what we see here, if we go into the live data, a lot of the channels that we were previously...
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.